So we're talking about Huna, Ho'oku'u, and Ho'oponopono. Try to say that 3 times fast.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. I'm Dawn, this is Caron, and today we have a great episode for you. Caron recently went to Hawaii, went to Kona, and did a ceremony there that we've been fascinated about for a long time.
Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about is Huna. And if you translate Huna from the Hawaiian word into the English word, it means secret.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
And it's interesting because the term was coined by a non-Hawaiian. And the reason why he called it Huna, or secret, was because he was asking a lot of Hawaiians, this is back in the early 1900s, I think, about this energy work. And they were saying, shh, and then would tell him. So he thought it was a secret. But it wasn't that. It was that it was sacred work. So they were trying to just
honor it?
But he misinterpreted how they were communicated, and he thought it was a secret. So he called it Huna. And
I love that.
Yeah, and now Hawaiians just use it because it's a term that people understand.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's one thing we're going to talk about is Huna. And then we're going to talk about Ho'oku'u, which Ho'o means to make or create, and Ku'u means to release. Okay, so make, release, or release work. Okay?
Excellent.
And then the last one we're going to talk about is Ho'oponopono. And as I just said, Ho'o means to make or create, and Pono means right. Because you're forgiving the other person, they're forgiving you. You say Pono twice because both are important.
Right.
So Ho'oponopono. If you've watched our previous episodes, you saw the episode that I did on the spirit of Hawaii, right? So there's a lot about spirituality in Hawaii. People there are very spiritual, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Big time.
So while I was there, I wanted to not only feel the energy of the island, but experience an energy treatment or some energy work. And so I found out about 2 different types of energy work. And one is called Huna, and the other is called Ho'oponopono. So, and they're different. So I think it would be good for me to kind of explain both.
Yes, because I didn't realize they were 2 separate.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So what's interesting, I thought it would be like, sort of like Reiki with a little sprinkling of Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
It's just what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Huna first.
Okay.
There was no real hands-on. It was we're sitting and talking. So there was a lot of, we started with a meditation, and the woman that brought us through the process called in a lot of spiritual beings to assist with the process, like what happens with a lot of energy work. But then we got into a little bit of a breathing session, and then a deep meditation, and then it was just closing our eyes and listening to her voice to guide us through a visualization process of letting go. Okay. And in Hawaii, they call this Ho'oku'u. You're letting things go, basically. So that is really what Huna's all about. And so there was no real hands-on, as I said, it was all about a guided meditation. So, they bring in a lot of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming into it, or changing the subconscious mind, and, how you hold on to things that you don't really realize you are. So, and what it also brought to mind when we went through the process is new decision therapy that we did with Shona Blazon, and we'll put a link to that episode. Because once we got into a bit of a meditative state, the therapist asked us to think about a memory that created certain emotions in our body. And we started with sadness, and then went to anger, and then went to grief.
So did she say this is the emotion we're going to focus on? Now bring up a memory?
Yes.
Okay, so not bring up a memory, what emotion is attached
Right.
to it. Okay.
No.
So that's the
we're
way.
starting with
the emotion. Okay.
And she also asked us not to, and I said us because my husband was there, not to
Shout
think,
out to Barry.
Yeah, hi Barry. Not to think about the worst situation or the thing that caused you the most sadness or the most anger, because we just wanted to tap into it. We didn't want to bring this huge emotional event to our conscious mind at that moment. It was just to tap into the emotion, and the process would do the rest.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
So that's nice. So we don't have to go into some
traumatic
event.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in fact, that gets in the way of the process.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. We would think about something that made us sad, for example. And then, so, again, our eyes are closed. We're really kind of going within, just listening to her voice. And where are you feeling that in your body?
I like that.
And so don't question it, just go with it, right? And so, I think sadness I felt in my shoulder blade, my right shoulder blade. And so they call it in Huna little black bags. And I actually told her about you. I said, well, my friend Dawn calls them energy cysts. Is that the same thing? That was, I think, later. I didn't
It sounds
stop the
exactly
process.
like an energy cyst.
Little black bags of negative energy, right? And so you visualize this part of your body because it's storing that emotion and all the sadness, not just that memory that you're thinking of at the time. It holds all the sadness. And so then you have to visualize it leaving your body in whatever way spontaneously your mind allows it to.
Okay.
Yeah. Then when we went to the next emotion, which is anger, and so on and so on, for me, they all left my body differently.
Interesting. And it was whatever came to you.
Whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. The thought is here that a lot of our physical ailments are because we hold on to these stored emotions, and that we need to, on a regular basis, just get used to letting these emotions go. And so it was as simple as that.
It sounds simple, doesn't it?
Yeah. But again, she called in, different spiritual beings and to assist in the process. So I think it was more than just that. I think she facilitated some parts of the process that you maybe couldn't recreate necessarily
on your own.
And then the other thing that we did was Ho'oponopono.
Which in previous episodes, you'll hear me say, Opono. I didn't know how to say it, and now I know. Ho'opono. Right?
No, Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
Because Ho'o means to make or create, and Pono means right.
Make right.
But twice.
Times 2.
Times 2.
Why is that?
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to forgive. You're doing a visualization where you're forgiving someone, and you're also forgiving yourself. So you're making it right twice.
I love that.
But in the Hawaiian culture, they actually do that around the dinner table.
Really?
With the family. They kind of do this I'm sorry I did this and you feel this way, or, forgive me and I forgive you for what you did. And so there is this regular releasing of,
wow,
emotions. So I think the prayer, there's a Ho'oponopono prayer that sums it all up, and it goes like this. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Thank you, and I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, when you think about it in terms of your relationship to someone else, that's all you really need to say.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like Huna, it's about releasing and letting go. So what we did was we brought people in our life up onto a stage. So you're just visualizing people coming up. You're standing in front of the stage, and you start with your parents.
Easy place to start.
Yeah. And I think because they have the biggest influence on who you are, either in a positive way or negative way. But you apologize to them for anything that you've done to them, and you give them the chance to apologize, and then you give them forgiveness, because that's an important part. So there's forgiveness both ways, or apologies both ways, pono twice. And then you tell them how much you love them, and you thank them for whatever it was, because it brought you to this place.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so important.
Right. So you start with your parents, then they move to the side. You bring up your family members, other family members. You move them to the side. You bring up your friends.
Wow.
Move them to the side. In my case, she had me bring up all the medical people that I've dealt with, and because some of them haven't been the greatest and some have been amazing. So you also want to thank them for that, or forgive them. Then the people that you have casual relationships with.
Wow.
And the last one is just the people that you kind of even made eye contact that day with, like the bus driver, whatever, because she says there's cords of energy between everyone that you encounter in a day.
Right.
And then you gather up all the cords that attaches you to all these people. And then you take a white light to sever all those cords.
Wow. So it finishes with a cord cutting.
It finishes with a cord cutting.
Wow. We should do an episode on cord cutting.
Yeah, we should.
For those of you who aren't familiar with it, as Caron mentioned, there's an energetic tie between people. And even if we're not in their presence, we still can have a connection to them, an energetic connection. And a lot of times it will create an energy exchange, and can sometimes be a little bit draining for us, especially if there is some kind of residual trauma or a strong emotion attached to that other person or thing. So cutting the cord actually frees you from that connection, and make sure that your energy isn't going to it. The way I think about it, I think it actually probably comes from cutting the cord. It comes from like the mother baby. Like while the baby's in gestation, obviously the mother is providing the baby with nourishment. When the baby's born, they cut the cord, and it's not that their relationship ends. It's that this other baby now can be its own, and the mom can be its own person.
Yeah, and become self-sufficient.
Yes.
Which is what we all need.
That's what we all need, yeah.
Right?
To be self-actualized.
Yeah, and then, so that is another thing that I should be doing regularly.
We
right?
all probably could be, yeah.
So,
I'm even just thinking, as you're talking, this week I got run off the road by a truck while I was biking. And it's been on my mind.
I know, you're energetically connected to that truck driver.
So I'm going to
do some work.
Do some
pono.
and then I'll be sure to cut that cord, because there's really no point. It happened, it's done. There's no point in me staying angry at that psycho. Ran me off the road.
No, it's draining your energy.
It is, clearly, yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. It's how we hold on to that and how much it drains us.
Yeah.
but it's something that I'm going to continue to work on and continue to develop. And I think it would be good for our viewers.
I think so too. And well, thank you so much for sharing about this session, because I know I've been curious about it. You've talked about it for years. And now not only do I know how to pronounce it, but I understand what it is.
Right.
And I'm going to practice it myself.
Yeah.
Starting with that gentleman driving the black truck.
Yeah. And we'll include some links to Huna.org so you can read a little bit more about it in the description box.
Yeah. And since it is similar to new decision therapy, we'll include a link down below to reach out to Shona in case you wanted to try something local to our area. She's a wonderful therapist and can help with forgiveness as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up.
Yep.
And as Caron always says,
oh, and subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode.
and
All right.
we'll see you again soon. Take
All right.
care.
Bye-bye.